Have you noticed that every day there's a company launching a new tool or AI model? Well, this time, OpenAI didn't just release two new models. They're trying to change their strategy. GPT 5.4 Mini and Nano show a clear move to swap giant models for smarter, faster, and cheaper systems running in parallel. This directly impacts the way we create apps, automations, and even digital products with AI. But do these new models work for everyone? That's what I'm going to show you now. But before that, subscribe to the channel, and to watch the videos without ads, just click the join button. Deal. So let's get to the video. Well guys, today I want to share with you this news that was announced by OpenAI and that nobody was expecting. Listen. GPT 5.4 Mini is already available on ChatGPT, Codex, and the API, optimized for coding, computer use, multimodal understanding, and sub-agents. It is twice as fast as GPT-5 Mini in a direct comparison here with GPT-5.4, which is the company's most advanced model. In the SWE bench, the Mini reached 54.4, the Nano 52.4, and the larger model 57.7. So even though these two new models are smaller and cheaper, they are very close to the most advanced model here. When we come here to the terminal bench, then things change. The 5.4 has 75.1, the 5.4 Mini 60%, and the 5.4 Nano 46.3%. Now here in OS World Verified, which is for use on computers, the 5.4 reached 75%, the Mini 72.1%, very close. And then when we compare it with the Nano, this index drops way down, reaching only 39%. So what can we notice? That these two new models, especially the Mini, even though they're cheaper and smaller, they manage to have a performance similar to the 5.4 depending on the benchmark. Let's see what they said here on the blog. We present the GPT 5.4 Mini and the GPT 5.4 Nano fast and efficient models optimized for programming and sub-agency. Today we are launching the GPT 5.4 Mini and the Nano, our most capable small models so far. They bring many of the strengths of GPT 5.4 to faster and more efficient models designed for high-volume workloads. What does that mean? Let's suppose you are going to need an artificial intelligence model. Inside a little game, for example, this game will need very fast iterations and in large volumes. If you use a more advanced model, what will happen? It will take longer to process, and another thing, it will be very expensive. What they managed to do was optimize these two models so that they can deliver a satisfactory result in less time and at a lower cost. GPT 5.4 Mini improves significantly over GPT-5 Mini in programming, reasoning, multimodal understanding, and the use of tools. In addition to running more than twice as fast, it also approaches the performance of the larger model, GPT 5.4, in several evaluations. Regarding programming, what are they saying? GPT 5.4 Mini is especially effective in programming workflows that benefit from rapid iteration. The model handles pinpoint edits, code-based navigation, front-end generation, and debugging cycles with low latency, which makes it a great option for programming tasks that need to be completed faster at a much lower cost. So that's it. It's that equation. You deliver results and don't charge much for it. Regarding the combined use with other OpenAI models, what do they say here? GPT 5.4 Mini is also a great option for systems that combine models of different sizes. In Codex, for example, a larger model like GPT 5.4 can handle planning, coordination, and final judgment, while delegating to 5.4 Mini sub-agents which handle more specific subtasks in parallel, such as searching the codebase, reviewing a large file, or processing supporting documents. So, this ends up helping a lot because you can start a project with a more advanced model, with a more robust model, which will handle all the programming, do the planning, coordination, everything properly. And then, for smaller tasks that don't require as much from the model, you can use the 5.4 Mini. Well, regarding availability, GPT 5.4 Mini is already available today, which was during the launch on the API, in Codex, and in the EPT chat. On the API, GPT 5.4 Mini, it offers support for text and image input, tool usage, function calling, web search, file search, computer usage, and skills. It has a 400K context window and costs 75 cents per million input tokens and $4.50 per million output tokens. In Codex, GPT-5.4 Mini is available in the Codex app, in the CLI, in the IDE extension, and on the web. It uses only 30% of the GPT-5.4 quota, allowing developers to quickly handle simpler programming tasks in Codex for about a third of the cost. So, this is a key point, because it uses only 30% of the GPT-5.4 quota. If you have a big project, a more complex project, you can use 5.4. It will give you results faster and at a much lower cost. In the EPT chat, GPT 5.4 Mini is available for free and Go users through the Think feature in the Plus menu. For all other users, GPT 5.4 Mini is available as a usage limit fallback for GPT 5.4 Think. I'll show you what that means in a moment. And finally, here, GPT 5.4 Nano is only available through the API and costs 20 cents per million input tokens and 1.25 per million output tokens. So, what does this last part here mean? For all other users, GPT 5.4 Mini is available as a usage limit fallback for GPT 5.4 Thinking. If you come here to your chat EPT and click here on the model selector, the thing has been simplified. We have instance and thinking. By clicking here on configure, you have the latest model here and also 5.2, 5.0 and or 3. Then, you also have the option here to automatically switch to thinking. The chat EPT can automatically change from instance to thinking. When you ask a more complex question, but there's something interesting, notice that we don't have the option here to select the mini model. Why? It will only be triggered when you reach the 5.4 limit here. That's why they say it's a fallback. When you're using 5.4 there, and for example, you have a pro account and your limit runs out, you automatically switch to 5.4 mini mode. And it doesn't go here to instance, which is 5.3. So that's the only way you can use it. Now, if you want to test it, it's available here inside Codex to use. It's very simple. You just create a new project here. And here in the models, Nano isn't showing up. Why is that? Does it only show up in the API? But now we have the option here to choose the 5.4 Mini if you want to see what it's like. I made my Codex look like this, with this matrix style. It's really simple. Just click on settings, then go to appearance. And here in the theme menu, I have Dracula, Codex, GitHub, Linear, Lobster, Material, and Matrix. And to change it, just select the theme. It automatically updates here, and when you go back, your theme has already been applied. Notice that now, since I'm using the 5.4 Mini here, I have the option to use the Codex Sub-Agents. It says here that I can delegate subtasks to this new model. So let's go. I'll show you now what I was able to create using GPT 5.4 Mini here inside Codex. My first project was this one. Create a self-playing snake game in HTML. The snake must always be able to find the food. Use a modern UI, cyberpunk style. And this was the result I got. Notice what I have here. The snake game has a really cool interface. I have some controls here like pause, restart, and increase speed. Look, I'm here at up to 2 times speed, it gets much faster. I also have the full screen option here, it expands to the whole screen so it's fully playable. I don't do absolutely anything, I just watch the little snake eating its food here. All good, nice interface, the buttons here work perfectly. I'd give it a 10, it worked right away. Just for comparison, I used the same prompt. But in this other model, which was also announced here recently, the Mystery Small 4, and you can access it here inside NVIDIA's platform by selecting Mystery Small 4 119B-2603. When you enter the model, just type your prompt. It's really fast. It'll create the code for you. And this was the result. I'll click here to start the game. It's also working fine. It asks here to restart. You can see that the snake goes there and eats perfectly, so everything is working. But as you can tell, the interface delivered by Small 4 is inferior to the one I got here with GPT 5.4 Mini. Here's another example, now using Model 5.4 again. Inside Codex, create an application that contains an animation capable of explaining, using animated graphics, several theorems such as Pythagoras, the fundamental theorem of calculus, Thales' theorem, the angle bisector theorem, and so on. And now let's see the result delivered by GPT 5.4 Mini. This is the animation. Here I have the Pythagoras theorem. I can play it automatically. I can increase the speed, and you can see that the animation happens much faster. I also have here the fundamental theorem of calculus. We can see the result here. Notice that I have the graph here. And if there's any mathematician watching the video, leave a comment below if this application here is correct, because honestly, I don't know. Take a look at Thales' theorem. Now I have the animation here, so I can walk around here nearby. Previous, so all the buttons are working correctly. This one is the angle bisector theorem. Also here with the animation speed. And down here, a brief explanation. Everything looks fine, but I'm not sure if it's correct. Mathematicians, please leave your comments below. I also used a similar prompt, but just to demonstrate the Pythagorean theorem using the Mistral model. And take a look at how the result turned out. Look, I'm going to reset it, then I'll start. I can also control the speed here. There's also the step-by-step option where I can control it myself. There you go. It goes through steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And I can also control it here. The angle size became simpler, but the Mistral model also managed to deliver the result. Obviously, what I have here in the 5.4 mini model is superior, at least in the interface. I don't know if the content is correct, but it looks even better here inside Codex. I asked GPT-5.4 to create a modern, elegant, and responsive landing page for a real estate agency located in the city of São Paulo. Here, I used a slightly more detailed prompt and check out the result. Look, here are the buttons. Everything is working perfectly. It added a background photo here, and all these buttons inside the page also work. And another cool thing is that it added these transitions here. As I scroll down the screen, the items appear smoothly. Everything is just right. It worked on the first try. So you can see here that we have a very capable model. It delivers results much faster at a lower cost and with reasonably good efficiency. Obviously, if we compare it with 5.4, the tendency is for the result to be better. Here, you're spending less and less time, so you need discernment because many people will talk. Everything that the 5.4 mini does, the 5.4 already did, but the 5.4 mini is faster and cheaper, and that's the trick. Take a look at this other example. Create a replica of the macOS operating system. The operating system should include basic applications, such as a calculator, terminal, clock, file manager, browser, drawing app, and so on. It should have responsive icons on the desktop, and all dock and desktop icons must be functional. The entire project should use vibrant colors in a single HTML file, and this was the result. Here I have my copy of Apple's system. The window is working. I'll open my calculator here. Let's see if it's working. 7 times 2, it gave 14. The terminal and clock worked, showing the exact time here, working perfectly as well. Here, my file manager, the browser, it's all fake. It's just for demonstration. And here's the drawing app. Let me draw, change the color, adjust the pencil thickness, clear the screen. Everything works perfectly. And here as well, the Notes app has responsive buttons, both here on the desktop and on the dock. So you see, only it delivered the result. It could be that if I were using Model 5.4 here, it would have a better interface with more features. But for what I need, which is to program quickly and at a low cost, it's working perfectly. So guys, give it a try. It's available on Codex, it's available on other platforms like OpenRouter, for example, but in that case, you'll need an API key. Then, come back here in the comments to tell me what you thought about these 2 new models from OpenAI. So what did you think about these 2 new models? Can we trust it? Is this the right path with smaller, cheaper, and more efficient models? Let me know in the comments. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I've been